Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Make sure to smash that like button, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Alright, I had to make this video after getting info on the actual event, pay-per-view event on Showtime that took place last year with the Charlo brothers. Featuring the Charlo brothers, they both finally had their time to shine. Both were featured as headliners on that pay-per-view card. And Jermall was fighting his step-up opponent, and Jermell was favored to beat a fluke champion in Rosario. Looking at the pound-for-pound list here on BoxRec, it's hilarious, man. BoxRec doesn't even rate Jermall Charlo as the top 25 fighters in the world. That's so funny, man. I mean, they're telling, oh, they got him 26. That's so fucked up. that just tells you BoxRec doesn't even rate, those bum wins that Jermell got to unify the titles. I mean, beating Tony Harrison and Rosario. I'm sorry, man. That doesn't get you on my pound list. Doesn't even get you on the BoxRec top 25 fighters in the world. So there you go. Argument done. Case closed when it comes to Jermall Charlo being on the pound list. Okay, Jermall is ranked number 12. He gets more respect, obviously, because he's won in more divisions, titles, 2 divisions to be exact. He's got decent names on his resume overall. He was the first to beat Julian Williams when he was undefeated. The knockout of Centeno was spectacular. Did have a struggle with Korobov, but I did think he win the fight. And of course, his best fight to date, the very competitive fight he had with Derevyanchenko, where he got the decision. But man, after learning of how much money was spent on the event, man, I wish I could just ask Al Haymon himself, like, bro, like, how the hell is you making money with PBC? I mean, I know you get 15% of whatever your fighter makes in and outside the ring, sponsors, all that shit, but with the guaranteed purses that you offered Derevyanchenko, and you paid him handsomely, still wasn't as much as what he was offered to fight Canelo. But man, you paid a contender at that time, who was ranked number 1. He was the mandatory contender for Jermall Charlo's belt. You paid him a $2.2 million purse for a Ukrainian middleweight who can barely speak English and had 2 defeats coming into this fight, but was considered the best opponent to date for Jermall Charlo. It only took Jermall Charlo how long? He's been a pro since, when was his debut? 2008. He's been a pro for 12 years. It took him 12 years to take a legitimate, dangerous fight against a contender who's been beaten before in Gennady Golovkin leftovers. So there's still a lot to be desired for Jermall Charlo now that he's 30 years old and in the prime stages of his career. But man, it's amazing what Haymon offered Derevyanchenko. I mean, he obviously had to give him a career, a big purse, because prior to that, Derevyanchenko was in negotiations to fight Canelo, and he was offered a tremendous purse of $5 million. I'm still just baffled to how you offered this guy $4 or $5 million, who is not a champion, not a big name, respected in boxing circles, but he's not the biggest name. He's not a champion. He doesn't bring that star power, and he was offered $5 million to fight Canelo, just so they wouldn't strip him of the IBF title. But it all worked out well for Canelo. In the end, he was stripped, but that ended up costing the relationship with Golden Boy. Well, that was one of the boiling points to where Canelo wanted to leave Golden Boy for being stripped of the IBF title, even though Golden Boy did everything they could in offering Derevyanchenko a career high purse of $5 million. But Haymon had other ideas. He wanted to get Derevyanchenko to challenge Charlo for his WC belt, since he is an advisor to both fighters. It's an in-house fight. They don't have to sacrifice one of their fighters to a Golden Boy fighter. So Derevyanchenko took a pay cut just to lose to Jermall Charlo. And he wasn't given a fair shake, man. I mean, it really sucks for fighters like Derevyanchenko and others who have this type of situation. I mean, yeah, he was paid handsomely. He was given a retirement package, but he wasn't given a fair shake in the Jermall Charlo fight. He was paid 2.2 million just to be an opponent, just to big up Charlo, just to give him a good fight and lose on the scorecards. And he cried in the locker room after that fight, knowing that he accepted pretty much a bribe. That's what he accepted. He let Haymon pay for his career, but not give him a chance to prove that he's a superior fighter or a legitimate middleweight top fighter. Because had he took the Canelo fight, he would have been offered more money. But Canelo would have gave him that answer whether he was good enough or not. He would have told him that you're not good enough at this level. Maybe you can beat a Danny Jacobs. I felt he beat Danny Jacobs. But you can't beat the Canelos or even an Asian Golovkin. I still felt he lost to Golovkin as well. But the point is, Canelo would have gave him that answer. He would have showed him in that ring, bro, you're not at this level. You're not good enough to be a champion, or the type of champion that Canelo Golovkin is. He's good enough to beat Danny Jacobs, and he was even good enough to, in my eyes, earn a draw against Jermall Charlo. But, it's sad for these type of fighters that they sacrifice their careers and their dreams just for money. He got paid handsomely just to lose to Charlo because he wasn't given a fair shake. Look at the scorecards of this fight, man. This is the only fair scorecard that he got, and it's still off. But, it's only by 2 rounds. I had it 6 rounds apiece for both Charlo and Derevyanchenko when they fought. Good fight. Jermall Charlo showed in that fight that he's a good fighter, that he's a legitimate top middleweight, that he can compete. But he didn't show me that he's better than Sergiy Derevyanchenko. He didn't show me that he can decisively beat a top middleweight. And he failed to make a statement in this fight. He didn't beat Sergiy Derevyanchenko in my eyes. He earned a draw. And Golovkin, in my view, had a better victory. He had a war, life and death struggle, yes, but so did Charlo. So what's the difference? And Golovkin knocked him down, and in my eyes, earned the decision. And what was a very good war, competitive fight. But Charlo and Derevyanchenko, to me, was even a closer fight than Golovkin and Derevyanchenko. So it's amazing that, Haymon sided with the Charlos. He feels they have more potential in terms of money making and events. They're being hyped up. They've been in the game for 12 years, and there's still a lot left to be desired in their careers. Jermell is not respected as a unified champion because he don't fight nobody. Jermall, 12 years into his career, and this is his best win to date, and he didn't even win it in my eyes. But he did show that he was a good fighter and earned a draw. On my card, at least. But Haymon paid retirement packages to both Rosario and Sergiy Derevyanchenko just to lose to these Charlo brothers, who are not even that good. Jermall's a good fighter. Jermell's a bum. I'm sorry, he's a bum, bro. It's just what it is, man. The weakest unified champion in boxing, was quick to unify against Rosario, but didn't want to fight Jarrett Hurd when he was the unified champion. That tells me everything, bro. Quick as hell on the trigger to fight Rosario and unify, but wasn't quick at all. Didn't want no smoke with Jarrett Hurd when he was champion. And Jermall, I like him. I like the way he fights. I like, he's a family man, but he's content. He's content. That's why he doesn't push for fights outside of his promotional stable. He's good with Al Haymon telling him what to do, who he's gonna fight next, and he gets paid handsomely for it. I mean, look at his Instagram, bro. I mean, the guy's living like a king, but it just makes you wonder how. He's never had one legitimate pay-per-view fight, not a real one. That fight was on pay-per-view because all the money that Haymon paid Sergiy Derevyanchenko and the Charlo brothers. At least 10 million combined in purses, and that fight did 120K pay-per-view buys. Might even did less. That was a tremendous. That pay-per-view completely flopped, and all the money in purses that Haymon had to pay just makes you wonder, man. Like, how the fuck is he doing it? But Jermall's content, man. He's got the mansions, he's got the Lamborghinis. Doesn't have the strongest resume, doesn't have the legacy fights. He's got an undefeated record, he's got titles, but he doesn't have that respect yet. He doesn't have that recognition yet. He doesn't have that pound for pound status yet. So you have to ask yourself these questions. Do I want to make money? Yeah, I want to make money. But I want respect too, bruh. I want recognition. But if you're gonna stay without Jermall, it's gonna be really hard to get that recognition. You won't push for the Canelo fight. You won't push for the Golovkin fight. You're just content with fighting in-house fights and getting these setup fights like Derevyanchenko where you're predetermined to win. Look at these scorecards: 9-3, 8, 10-2. That fight was super razor close, and Jermall lost the last 3 rounds of that fight to make it closer. But Jermall's never gonna get his shine if he stays with him, man. He's got no opponents in his stable at middleweight. I already know who he's gonna fight next. I look at the WC rankings. It's not gonna be Golovkin. It's not gonna be Canelo. It's not gonna be Demetrius Andrade. They're all fighting on the zone. So let's see who he's gonna fight next. Let's go to middleweight real quick. Tell you who he's gonna fight next real quick. There you go. Oh yeah. He's gonna fight this guy. Because if you look at the top 15 rankings of WBC, they're missing a lot of names within the PBC side. There's only this guy on the PBC side in the rankings. He's gonna fight the guy that just knocked out Kirkland as a voluntary defense because he just lost the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. Eubank signed with another promoter, and he's not gonna fight the other middleweight champions because they're all fighting on the zone. Munguia is probably gonna fight Golovkin, even though he's ranked #1 for the WBC, but Jermall just fulfilled his mandatory obligation, so he gets at least 9 months until he fulfills another obligation mandatory. He already knocked out Centeno. Let me show you the WBC rankings real quick. I mean, I figured out Caleb Plant's last fight just by looking at the rankings, and there you go. He's fighting Caleb Truax. See the middleweight division. See, Munguia is gonna fight Golovkin most likely. They're trying really hard to make that fight. He just fought him. Liam Williams is gonna fight for the WBO. Selecki, possible, but he's not affiliated with anybody, so that's possible. He already knocked out Dennis Hogan. He already beat Brandon Adams. He already knocked out Centeno Jr. Turion Johnson's a Golden Boy fighter. He's gonna fight this cat because he's a PBC guy. He's coming off a decent win in a shot James Kirkland, and it's an easy voluntary defense. But of course, Haymon's gonna pay you handsomely, and you're gonna be content and living like a king, even though You don't got the resume of a king. But it is what it is. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.